What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we put the real in reality or whatever.
Period.
I'm your host, Pharaoh. We are joined by our wonderful co-host, Lee. Lee, how you doing?
Oh, get it together, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing good. I'm doing swell. Daddy Ty is eating it up.
Mother Claudia is not mothering.
Mother. Oh, I'm going to say stepsister, maybe.
Mother in many ways, but not in
Cousin,
the name.
twice removed.
Sure. Not even in the family.
Not even in the
Claudia
family.
is dumb as hell.
Oh,
Sorry.
Lord.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Claudia, baby. It's real bad for you.
I'm sorry.
Birdia, some would say.
I don't even know if it's giving bird or if it's just giving. I don't know what it's giving. It's not giving.
It's definitely giving bird. And it's bad for you, sister.
That's her issue. So
I mean, I kind of get it.
Do you?
I mean, I just wouldn't be that dumb. Like, I'd be getting that dick, but I wouldn't be that dumb.
I don't even think it's getting. It's not. In my opinion, I don't even think it's giving bird. I just think it's giving dummy because bird will be getting that dick. Is she getting that?
I think she's getting that dick.
We have no evidence.
I mean, ain't no way she this.
I think she might just be dumb.
Over just flirting and cuddling.
And this is my reason.
Ain't no way you just done over flirting and cuddling.
This is my reason. One situation that didn't even. Oh, it did involve him, didn't it? Yes, Bird. Because I was going to say her not liking Renee didn't involve him, but yes, it did.
It did. He kind of pushed that.
Wow.
Bird, he also pushed her to get out Chanel.
Birdia. That's crazy. Talking about Cece. Maybe BB? I don't know.
For Big Bird?
Big Bird. I don't know. It's bad for her. But so let's get into this episode actually, because the digital daily that we got for Friday was actually
4/28, yeah.
Was actually just Thursday before anybody went home. Sinead was still in the house. Kuzi was still in the house. We didn't get shit. So let's just talk about the episode because it went over the details of it went over a lot of details of the double eviction that we didn't get to see. So boom. We start off the episode. We see that, of course, Kuzi went home, and they get into the double eviction tea. Now, the main thing we were wondering is what the fuck was Claudia thinking? And honestly, I didn't get a good answer. Still didn't get a good answer because we get into the episode. We see that, of course, she initially talks to the girly pops, and she's like, "Look, y'all, I don't want to put up Ty because I think Ty needs to think he's with us." And she has diary room. She says this. She says, "I would rather work with Ty since he's eating it the fuck up than make him think I'm against him. I don't want him to be against me. I want to work with him." And
I feel like initially that does seem really, really wild for Claudia. But considering the events that take place, I mean, if you're up to date with all the digital dailies, you know Ty has one veto and has now used it on Claudia at the final 5. So she is good, and he has her back going into the final 4. So it's like, with the mindset that he's going to be winning these competitions regardless, that's how everyone's mindset is right now. Ty is going to win veto and keep himself safe. I mean, it kind of worked out. I just wish she just still had more agency in the situation. I guess the issue really isn't working with him. It's submitting to him and him getting his entire way and all the credit and all the resume move. Like, it's insane, the spiral this goes into. I don't get it. Like, because when she initially brings it up, it's like she's not even thinking what would happen if he wants to use it. And I'm like, where has he shown you? We mentioned about this. We said this so many times on the update, the week 7 update. It's like, what has he shown you to make you think that he's going to be loyal to you in this way? Like, but that's the thing. Not even you, but your entire trio. She's talking with the girly pops of the episode as if he wants to keep all 3 of them safe. He don't even like you.
She just wasn't thinking. I don't know if it was going too fast or what, but.
It definitely wasn't going too fast because we got I saw that. We got hours of conversation. She had hours to think about this, bitch, because there was conversation after conversation. This was definitely not a real double. Let's be honest.
Y'all get y'all some blinds, like the actual poll, because I don't got the poll. Boom. This girl was basically telling Claudia and Renee, like, I don't want to put him up, and I think we'll be good. I think he'll work with us. And it's like, girl, what were you thinking? But also to Shanae and Renee, what the fuck were y'all thinking? Because y'all could have been like, no, girl, you need to put him the fuck up. Because if he wins that veto and he uses it, then the fuck what? Dummy. So
I just don't. I don't understand that. It's like the thing is, what's crazy is that this shit happens back to back. Like all parties involved, the HOH, the people associated with the HOH. Don't let your friends do dumb moves either. Like if it was me, baby, Claudia, what are you thinking? Like, come on. Like this does not make any sense. And it's like it was almost like for me, it felt surface level. It felt like I said, they were not even thinking further into if he wins and if he uses it, then one of us can go up. Because once he uses it, and once he wins and he wants to use it, they're immediately like, one of us can go up and go home. And it's like, you didn't think this before?
Literally, if I was her or if I was her ally, I would have been like, okay, so you're planning on nominating Anika and Daniel. And then if one of them wins veto, of course you'll put up Ty. What if Ty wins veto? That would have been my thought process. Like,
but that thing, that wasn't even Claudia's plan. If one of them won veto, Ty was not even going to be the renom. She genuinely wants to work with this man, which I will say, considering the events that took place this week, Anika probably still wins at HOH. You know what I mean? She probably still targets Claudia. Ty winning veto saving her, that's really good for her this week. But it's just, girl, like, when you have those separate conversations, you mean to tell me you were going to put up Shania or Renee anyway? Like a dummy?
So...
Like, she basically was going to, like, whether or not Ty won veto or not, she was sending home one of her allies.
Well, only if Daniel or Anika won veto. Which she was,
like a dummy!
I guess.
That is insane! And you know what? I keep, maybe Pharaoh, you're all right. You're all right. Let me stop clapping for Claudia. Because I tweeted today, I said, I see a path for Claudia to win. I really do. Because if she gets the final three, this is, y'all, travel in my mind with me, okay? Ty is winning everything. Spoiler alert for the girls who don't know, Renee is probably going this week. Final four is going to be Daniel, Anika, Claudia, Ty. I can see Daniel, Ty and Claudia winning those HOH veto, whatever order. It doesn't matter. They've been winning everything. I don't see Daniel and Anika winning. Sorry.
Anika's going home in that scenario.
Anika probably does, though.
Both Claudia and Ty want Anika gone before Daniel, but keep going.
And I was thinking in the final three scenario, if Claudia wins the final HOH, she's been good at these trivia competitions. If she wins the final HOH, which is usually trivia, she can win and cut Ty. That's the game-winning move. And all of the evidence in this episode, makes me feel like, oh wow, she's not cutting that man. She may actually be dumb enough to take him all the way to the end. I just feel like that scenario is so easily set up for her. Like if you're in this position, she's talked about it with Santina before. Like she's mentioned it in the house. The scenario is there. This comp beast who has been the target since the beginning of jury has won his way to final three, and you're gonna take him? Like I just feel like she can't not see the moment there. Like that's the game when it moved. But this episode makes me feel like she probably won't see it.
She won't
because Claudia is really in the clouds.
All of the clouds.
Claudia. I can't do it.
Girl, so she nominates Anika and Daniel, of course. Boom, Ty wins veto. She approached Ty beforehand and she was like, just make sure you're good with us and we're going to work with you and you're working with us. And Ty was like, with y'all?
He was very cold.
He was like, okay. And he didn't even say okay. He was like, with y'all? She was, yeah, and you're going to work with us and we're good. And I'm not going to.
And there was a pause. Like, there was a moment where she was like, so are we? Like, girl, you knew. Something in your gut was telling you. Like, I feel like I can see it on her. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can see it on her face. Like, that girl knew.
She's no off season that this nigga needs to go in.
It's like that. It's like she just keep giving them chances. It's like someone keeps fucking with you. You just give them a chance. Like she keeps giving him the benefit of the doubt. Girl, what Kaya said? You put your trust in the nigga.
Stupid hoe.
How you figure?
Well, I to ya.
Shit, Claudia.
And then screw ya multiple times.
Play in your face, Claudia. Claudia.
He single-handedly dismantled the girly pops, which nobody else could do.
From the inside out, bitch. Like he ate that up.
He wasn't HOH not one time. And
Kuzi didn't do it. Anika didn't do it. Daniel didn't do it. Ty did it. He got them girly pops out. And I mean for that.
Big Daddy King. Oh, but
no.
She talks to him. She talked to him and wasn't given that he actually gave a fuck about what the fuck
It wasn't given at all. It was giving very much he should be nominated.
Claudia has had the most conversations with Todd than anybody in this house, and he ain't never gave her a lick of respect.
A lick of respect, a lick of information.
Why the fuck did she think in this moment was he gonna give a fuck about what the fuck she was saying? He ain't never cared about what you were saying. You said it to him. You said, I just feel like when I talk to you, you just treat me like I'm shit and I'm trash and I'm nothing and I'm the scum on your shoe and you hate me. And it's like he does.
He does.
He does. And you know it because you said it. But you're what? Delulu.
Oh my God.
So the Delulu girl was like, okay, she didn't put him up. She put up Anika and Daniel. He won veto. And then she talked to him. No, Anika. Shout out to Anika. Because Anika pulled Todd to the side. She said, can I talk to you? So she pulled him to pool room. And Anika was like, girl, it's giving you using it on me. He was like, girl, it's giving up using it on me.
Anika gonna fight.
She for herself at least. And then be mad about Kuzi fighting for herself. And this is why I can't get behind nobody in that house. Y'all, when I tell you I genuinely don't think nobody in the house is a good player, I'm so dead ass. It goes Kuzi and then a bunch of not good players. Why the fuck is nobody a good player? And even Kuzi was doing some shit.
Kuzi was doing a lot. Like it's like this season.
It's like they got a bunch of bitches who want to go play the game. But this is what you get. This thing we saw at the cash drop. We was like, this is a bunch of recruits. Ain't nobody gonna know how to play the game. And what happened?
And that's what it came down to. I think like
the best players were the people who knew the game, and they're not that good. No shade. It was Kuzi, Daniel, and I guess Jonathan, and they all three were big super fans. Those were the only super fans this season. And in my opinion, it's the three best players. Best.
I would agree. And what happens with these seasons is usually that the cast itself curates the culture for that season. So like kind of like this whole idea of taking out these big players while simultaneously wanting to go to the end wall of the big players. Like the chaoticness of this season is because this cast itself kind of breeded that from the beginning and kept it going, which is why I feel like it's so crazy and all over the place. But it just that type of gameplay, nobody wins. No one was able to play optimally, and now they're all at the end game doing any fucking thing. Like you are literally about to lose to the person that has zero social game that I've tried to get out for weeks, bitch. We thought Renee was Taylor Hell, bitch. Ty is Taylor Hell, okay? Like
he's not going home, so
he's the face and the body of this season. Wait, let me stop. I gotta stop. Oh my God, I gotta stop.
I've been rooting for Top for a while. I'm still rooting for Top.
Look, all I gotta say is,
how about that ridiculous? Because the girls was like, are we rooting? No shade, but the girls was like, are we just rooting for people who can win comps now and not for people who are actually playing the game? And it's like,
clean it up.
And it's like, I just feel like to the people who feel like rooting for Ty is rooting for someone who's playing comps. It's just not true. I don't give a fuck how many comps he won. I'm rooting for story at this point. In my opinion, everyone in the game is either lackluster or not good at all, including Ty. However, since no one else is doing anything but Ty, and when I say doing anything, I mean Ty's winning all the comps. When other people are winning comps, Ty's running their wins. Just did Anika and Claudia. Forcefully, with no care. So it's like, who do you want me to want to win? Claudia? Bird ass?
Ooh. Not
Daniel's not doing anything but being jealous of Kuzi.
Oh, no.
So who do you want me to want to win? Anika? 17 seconds? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Maybe Renee? She's going home.
She's going home.
I will say, maybe Renee. Like, if y'all were arguing,
I would definitely say Renee.
Don't root for Renee. I'll give it to y'all. Y'all wasn't even arguing that.
And also at the same time, I see where the frustration comes in at, because you're thinking like, okay, well, we don't want comp wins to be kind of like the norm. We just had these two winners, and Taylor and Kevin use their social game. Very different wins for BB. I would still consider Ty a different win for this new era, because at the end of the day, he has zero social game. I feel like comparing him to certain archetypes like a Casey, an Xavier, a Cody, these people were winning competitions while also being protected by a majority alliance. Ty has not had that. Literally from the beginning of the game, he's not been in any majority alliance. They created one week one and they destroyed it within the same week. So this man has not been saved. He has 0 social games, so he doesn't have any real connections. He's chaotic as fuck, and he's literally making people get out their closest allies. So I just like, it's not the same. It's not the same. It is underdog. It's very underdog, and it's way more interesting to watch. It's not boring. At the end of the day, he's fighting against the entire house. He's only here because he won. You know what I mean? Like people like Cody, Casey. Like Casey was winning 5 vetoes in a row and didn't use any of them because she didn't need to, because she was in the majority alliance. Ty has had to use every veto he's won because he was keeping his ass safe.
Yeah.
I find that interesting.
And I'm all for, because it's a social strategy game, I'm all for the people who are social strategic players to win above someone who's just winning comps. However, like I said, I just don't think anyone here is screaming that to my face to where I should give a fuck. Kuzi ran the fuck out of all of y'all. She went home. The only other option is Ty. I'm sorry, not option, but he's the most interesting option after her because no one else is playing that good. Like even strategically, Ty's playing better than all of them, in my opinion. Strategically, he's the
at
only
this point,
moving pieces.
I mean, 2 weeks in a row, we have people allowing themselves to potentially be nominated, knowing that this man can win veto. Yeah, it happened twice in a row with 2 different groups. So if we're talking about someone playing optimally, playing the best at this point, at top 6 and 5 in the game, it's Ty. It really is Ty.
He's no one's target.
Wasn't going up regardless in any scenario, and it's still playing in both of their face, and it's still going to 5-3. Well,
I'm sorry to tell y'all, he's just the only thing he's lacking in comparison to the other players are social.
It's social.
Game. But honestly, even in that, it's not like the girls were eating. Claudia only talked to the girly pops, so it's not like if anyone, I would say Daniel. If anyone deserves any respect, I would say Daniel.
But that's the thing. It's like that's what it comes into being well-rounded. Yeah, like Ty has no social game. Daniel doesn't have any physical game when it comes to the competition.
And where's his strategy compared to Ty? No shade at this moment. Because why is Ty running your besties HOH? Period. Let's get into it. We supposed to be recap.
Child, so that was just a lot. A lot's going on.
Lots going on. Okay, boom. So we get we was in the episode. What was we at? Oh, Ty uses the veto on Anika. Homegirl has to put somebody up. She talks to the girls. Apparently, Shania, initially she said, girl, put me up. And then she went in the room alone without
my thing is, why did she do all that dramatic shit in the first place then, girl? Did you want to go up or did you not want to go up? That is so annoying.
Regret it. I think she said it and she was like, damn, hold on.
But we see she starts fighting for it and she's like, I want to be here where you just said to put Renee up. And then we see in the exit interview, she seems a bit better. Like she doesn't even have Claudia ranked anywhere near her top when she wants to win. But it's like, girl, you literally initially told her to send home.
I just think it's like I'm trying to put myself in Shania's shoes. And it's like, let's say I had a bestie in the house. Mm-hmm. Let's say me and you was in the house. It was me, you, and other. And we all became besties. And then you won HOH. And we're all talking. And we're like, and I'm so, girl, it's given. I guess I just maybe got to take one for the team. Well, but we're final 2. It wouldn't happen. And then I went in another room and I was like, wait, girl, I was just.
Well, that's like, we went out of the room. I was like, well, I'm not putting you up anyway. So Claudia, am I going back to Claudia being a dummy?
The thing is, Shanae's like, why the fuck did this bitch put me up anyways? Like, even if I was dead,
that was a test and you failed.
Exactly. Like, even if she was dead ass, it just didn't matter. I feel like, and this could be a lie, but what if Shania was just in the room and she was like, well, Claudia's not putting me up, so let me just lie to Renee so I can get her jury vote type shit. Like, let me just be nice real quick. Like, Claudia's not putting me up for real. Like, oh, girl, maybe it has to be me. Like, she didn't think the bitch was stupid. No shade. She's not a bitch, but she is dumb. And I think Shania maybe didn't know that. Because Shania has always been a little bit smarter than Claudia. Claudia was like, let's get out Renee. Shania was like, okay. So I think for example, if it was Shania and Claudia said, girl, put me up, Shania would be like, anyways, and Shania would put Renee up. First of all, Shania would put a Ty up. Even if Shania was a showman's with Ty, I think Shania would, no. I don't know about that. But I do think Shania would have put Ty up. And then Shania would have put up Renee if she had to. And not Claudia, because that's your literal final 2. And then Claudia was moping around talking about that was my final 2. And it's like, okay, you got her out, weirdo. But anyway, she puts up Shania. Shania goes home. Boom. They joined that part out a lot. Don't know why.
They did.
After that, Anika wins HOH. This kind of leads a little bit into when we finally did get the digital daily update, because this is where we know that Anika is HOH in the next digital daily update. But basically, she wins HOH. So we know Anika's HOH. It was 17 seconds, y'all. They had to
hilarious.
Use their foot to balance the beam that had a little pole thing on it. Everybody dropped, but Anika, she won. Shout out to her. Boom. We find out that she doesn't want a non-tie. She doesn't want to know I'm tied because what was her reason?
Well, I think she believes that he's working with them. I think that
She was like me, Daniel, and Ty. She was like
under the impression that he's working with them.
Yeah, she was like, it's her, Daniel, and Ty. And it makes sense. He just played the fuck out of Claudia, Shanae, and Renee.
Mm-hmm. Like, they're probably thinking, like, how can he come back from that?
But it doesn't make sense to not nominate him, even if that's the case. Because why risk, same with Claudia, dummy, why risk him using the veto on one of your targets?
But that's the thing. Maybe it's a long run thing because...
Long run?
Well, that's what. Well, that's the thing with Claudia. It's like, for example, she's safe this week because of this Ty situation. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Ty wins veto and uses it on her. If she nominates him last week, you never really know. He could have been bitter about that. And then same with Anika. It's like in this Final Four, let's say because he's won veto every single week this past week. If Claudia's HOH, Ty wins veto. Well, then he's keeping Anika over Daniel potentially. No, we don't know.
He already said he wanted to evict Anika though. That's the thing. So it's like she did all this in for what? But that's because she did it and she messed it up.
Yeah, she messed it up. There's a lot that happens after the fact.
So initially,
right. I can see the argument because it's like if he's going to win veto anyway, he's going to keep me safe.
Yeah, that's true.
Which even when all of we don't get into it, but even after all of that, I can still see him cutting Daniel.
I agree. So that's true.
Well, maybe not because Ty works heavily on emotions. It's very much at this point who I like the most and who I don't like, who I respect as a player and who I don't respect.
Yeah, he never respected Anika. So she decides she doesn't
idiotic regardless. I can't defend it.
I don't know what to say. She noms Claudia and Renee, and that's how we end this episode.
Well, no. There was more before. Is there more? I think I'm actually blending the digital daily.
That's why I'm trying to decipher what was in the daily and what was in the episode.
Oh, we had conversations about Ty turning. They had conversations about Daniel potentially going up if Ty wins veto.
Oh. So, first of all, Daniel wasn't sold on Anika's idea initially. But this is my thing with Daniel, because he didn't agree with it. But I didn't feel like what they showed that he pushed back a lot at all. It gave a cute little, well, Anika, if this happened, like, it didn't feel like, and this is the thing with Daniel, all game I felt this way. Whenever it was time for him to be a little bit more forward, I feel like he's not doing it enough for me. He doesn't run Anika. And I think that's the issue. Because he didn't necessarily agree with the situation because he felt like if Ty wins veto, he goes up, all that situation. He wasn't feeling comfortable with it, but he didn't push it hard, in my opinion, at all. And that was my issue with it. And we see in the digital daily later that Anika is expecting Ty. She tells Ty, oh, you're with us. We're all together. And she's expecting him to not use the veto, even if he does win it. But my thing is, I don't know what made her expect that, especially because him and Claudia are back together. As we see in this situation, they're like all the way cuddled up. Mm-hmm. But literally after they have those conversations, Daniel's not feeling it, but Anika is still she has a diary room and she's like, look, I think that I don't trust Ty at all. I don't think that he's necessarily has my best interest, but at this point in the game, I want to nom Claudia and Renee. And I don't even understand what she was thinking because she literally had multiple diary rooms saying she doesn't trust Ty. She actively doesn't trust Ty. When she's talking to Dane, she's saying she doesn't necessarily trust him because of what he just did to Claudia. She said because of what he just did to Claudia, I don't trust him, and I'm not sure if I want to do this. But then she did it anyways. I don't know.
It doesn't make any sense. She genuinely thought, I guess he was with them, but I don't get it. And then that was sparked because Ty came to Anika and he mentioned like, oh, he knew about the Final Four with Claudia and Shanae.
Claudia told
Well, no, he said he learned it from Kuzi.
But Claudia actually told him. He didn't really learn it from Kuzi. He didn't know about the Final Four from Kuzi because Kuzi never knew about the Final Four. Claudia told him.
I thought maybe she peeped it and told him.
No, early in the episode, Claudia literally told him. And then when Anika asked, he lied and said Kuzi told him. And he had to cover it up and say, oh, she also told me about the crown, this, and this. And it's like, that kind of made it seem believable. And Anika was getting mad at Kuzi about that. But it was like, girl, please. And then also, he told Claudia about the crown. When he told Claudia about the crown, that's when Claudia told him about the Final Four. And Renee was there, and Renee was looking stupid because she wasn't included in the Final Four when Claudia told Ty and Renee about it right there. She was like, yeah, well, those two had a Final Four with me and Shanae. And that's where Ty got the information. He lied to Anika, told her that Kuzi told him, and then he also told Anika that he knows about the crown. And then Claudia and them now know that there was a Final Four. Renee also knows. it's a lot. So everybody kind of knew everything because he was telling everybody everything, and everyone was telling him shit. And that all happened. And that's what sparked the whole conversation with
and we
him, her not
learned
trusting
like
him.
his perspective. Like I thought this episode was definitely geared towards Ty. It's giving Ty winner edit for real. But like, you know, we learned that he's very aware of his position. Like he knows that he's in the middle of these two sides, and basically he has all the power right now. And he's playing in both of their faces at the same time.
He had a diary room, and he said, because there was a cuddle session between him and Claudia, they were talking about the game with woo. He had a diary room saying that he actually, in his diary room, he said, why not me and Claudia just make it to the end after all of this? So it's like in the diary room, he's saying that he actually would take Claudia to the end. I don't see why he wouldn't. For him, it's not a big, he cut his showman. No one gives a fuck about that with Ty. Ty's that nigga. So I don't think there's a reason for him to not take Claudia. Might as well. Who cares? I don't think she's winning. So, yeah. He might actually want to take Claudia, but we don't know. And these digital dailies don't necessarily help. I never know what Ty's really going to do because he just lies and lies and lies. But we'll see. Boom.
Not lies and lies and lies.
So
he do just lie. I think it's wherever he tells the truth at that moment.
But I think it's just moment to moment. So it's like I don't really trust it. So in the digital daily from April 30th, we already know Ty has won the veto. Claudia and Renee were the noms by the end of the episode, and then we know that Ty has won the veto. The worst person for Anika to have won the veto. So we start this digital daily off, and Ty's talking to Renee. And basically, we learned that Anika is upset at Ty because Ty won the veto, and he already mentioned that he wanted to use it on Claudia. Anika is mad about that. Anika, you can't be mad about that, in my opinion. You should have knew. Apparently,
like it's obvious. Like you're mad that he did exactly what you knew. He just did to fucking Claudia. Anika, baby, you cannot get upset about that.
Why would he do it to Claudia, not to you?
And like that's the thing. It's like with all the consideration of them knowing that Daniel will be the renom, which I feel like we didn't even speak on that enough. Daniel, why the fuck were you this okay?
That's what I'm saying. When he did
like,
have the one
insane.
conversation, when he did have the one conversation with Anika in the episode, it didn't feel like it was just so quick. It was quick. It didn't feel like he was that concerned at all. He should not let this happen.
Been more. It had to have been more because like. I cannot believe that's just the one conversation. Knowing you would have been a renom, knowing how Ty has been unstable throughout this entire game. Like, what?
And this doesn't make any sense. This is why it's like, because I respect Daniel, but this is why I still want Ty to win over him because situations like this, it's like when it comes down to, because you know, when he was talking to Kuzi and he was like, well, Kuzi, you act like you've done everything and I've done stuff too. And Kuzi was like, well, you know, aren't I that mother girl? And it's like, times like this make me feel like she was right because when it's time for him to step up to the plate and get shit done for his own game, he did not do it because this was very bad for him. If Ty decided to evict Daniel tomorrow or today, actually,
it's perfect for him all around because even Anika putting him up is worse for Anika because that ruins her relationship with Ty and it helps your relationship with Ty. Like there are so many positives for why you did not need to be the one going up this week. I just don't get it.
Literally. So boom. After this, they're in the conversation. Ty and Renee is talking. Anika is mad at Ty apparently, and him and Renee are talking about how she's mad that I'm gonna use the veto on Claudia. And we get in this conversation that apparently Renee has pitched to Anika earlier this week that Ty and Claudia are showmans and that they should go up. And Renee is trying to die that down. Like, girl, I didn't really say it like that. She's twisting my words. She's a liar. And apparently Ty is feeling like Anika is a liar and he wants to call her out. And he's planning on later on literally having a conversation with Anika, pulling Renee up.
And when I tell y'all
all of this,
Ty needs a degree in gaslighting. PhD. Masters, bitch. Like, this man, though his gaslighting abilities is scary, actually. Like, terrifying. Because the only reason why this becomes a thing is because he got called out for lying. Because literally she straight up asked him, this is the digital data before. It wasn't that big, so it didn't get talked about really. But she has asked him straight up, Ty, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna use it, right?
Oh, like, literally.
You're not gonna use veto, right? And he's like, no, like it's us. Like we're the big three. You, me, and Daniel. So the reason why Anika is so gagged and calling him a liar is because he lied straight to her face. So now Ty has to get evidence that Anika's a liar. and we're gonna get into why that makes sense.
It doesn't. After this,
Well,
Renee,
why it makes sense in his head,
in his mind, literally, and only his. Renee and Renee acted like she did.
Look, Renee trying to stay. Look, Renee trying to stay. She don't give a damn what that nigga talking about. As long as it involves her staying, she is good.
Period. Renee and Claudia talk. Renee is basically telling her, "Girl, I'm sorry for mentioning your name and mentioning Ty's name."
She's going to work. Go to work, Renee.
She's campaigning.
Go to work, Renee. Don't nobody like her.
She's scared because Claudia just taking out all her allies. She's like, "Ooh, please don't take me out." But girl,
right. And she does.
We'll see how that goes.
She will. Well, I think Claudia was the OG Renee anti, so the girl is definitely out. Like, she had no chance.
Renee was the only hope for Renee.
And girl, Renee was turning on that for some stupid ass reason. That's the crime stupid. The girly pop stupid. Give it to Ty. Give it to Ty.
He deserves. I'm sorry, everybody else dumb. They talk about how Ty's probably working with Anika because that whole blow up. Woo. Renee starts spilling some tea. She was saying how Ty told her that Kuzi basically is the reason that he wanted Shania out. And he said this in the episode.
We get that in the episode.
Yeah. We got that in the episode. He had a diary. He was like, Kuzi said that I don't need to be trusting Shania. So what happened? Shania went
the fuck home. Ty did his big one for Kuzi. He did.
And it's funny because I was literally saying on our last update, I was like, it's weird that he wanted Shania out and not Renee. He's always hated Renee more. But we know that was Mother Kuzi.
Exactly. You see how mother's influence is deciding what goes on in the house even after she's gone? That was crazy. Her mother is being mentioned in the episode or the digital dailies. They're still talking about Kuzi and what Kuzi said and what Kuzi did about this and what Kuzi. Yeah, that's when you know. That's when you know you're a mother. Impact.
Apparently, Kuzi told him Shania needs to go, and then Renee, then Daniel, or something.
I think Shania, then Daniel, because he's spineless. Apparently,
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't believe Ty is actually gonna not. I think Ty's just gonna save Daniel this week. But it's interesting because he listened to her about the Shania thing. Is it like you're just gonna ignore her about Daniel, or you're just gonna do it at 3 and call him spineless at 3 to try to get that jury vote? Because I think if he does it at the end, it's kind of like I can get that jury vote. I'm doing it, at the very last minute.
And then I gotta clock Renee a little bit because you called this out before. Because she also talks about in this conversation, like, I guess to, like, try and win over Claudia's vote. She's like, I've done so much for the girly pops. Like, I've even turned down alliances when Jonathan and Hope. And we've known how Jonathan and Hope have been so loyal, have looked out for their allies to the upteenth degree. Like, Hope literally went home. Voluntarily damn near because he did not want to go home over his own crown member. So Jonathan did too. So it's like the fact that she turned down, that could have been a big alliance for her. Like she could have been in a middle position that would have catapulted her. And I just remember you saying like you feel bad for Renee, but it's kind of on her because she chose the girly pops and it wouldn't work with anyone else. And it's like proof right there because why the fuck did you not continue with that?
Yep.
And I always thought like that her relationship with Hope would turn into something.
Mm-hmm. Even her connection with Kuzi. Very early on. I said it very early on because that was when she still had the chance to do it. And apparently it was around the time the crown was formed when they were asking her for this. And that was around the time I was saying she still has the opportunity to go with other people, like a different group of people. And she's choosing to continue to go with the girly pops who don't like her. Because that was also around the time the girly pops who didn't like her. So it's like Claudia's targeting you. She's coming after you hard. Shania's not even focused on the game. And
worried about Dan.
And you still want to choose them. And we didn't have full proof. We didn't have proof in the sense that we knew she was offered alliances, but we did know she had a connection with Kuzi and Hope because a lot of the time, when the girly pops did talk to the Shady Bunch, it was Renee talking to Kuzi. And it's like, Renee has a great relationship with her. What's the tea on that? And she never harped on that to the very end when she got Kuzi out. And it's like, you didn't use any other relationship in the game, but Claudia and Shania who don't give a fuck about you. And look what happened. So it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. A part of me still feels like she got dealt a bad hand. But another part of me, now that we know this information that she was turning down alliances, it's like, okay, you chose your group. And it was a group of people who don't like you.
Yeah.
So that sucks. Try again. I don't know. Choose better. And it was annoying because the girly pops, it all felt like they didn't necessarily connect in ways that were outside of, physical
looking alike.
Yeah, it felt like they just saw each other and were like, oh, twin, evil twin, and that was all. It didn't give connection because all the time Claudia had better connections with other people. So did Renee. So did Shania. Like, and they were just all working with each other. And it's like, okay. Like Shania and Daniel's relationship, I feel was closer than her and the other girly pods, as noted by Claudia taking the girl out and her not giving a fuck about Renee. But Daniel and her were holding hands, crying on the block. Like, y'all were besties. So why didn't you just work more with Daniel? You don't have to work with the girly pods. But hey, we move. Boom. And she tried to work with Daniel. I care for that. More than Renee tried to work with Hope, apparently. So
that could have been her saving grace right there. Like, that really could have turned a lot around.
After this, even like with her perception, if she would have agreed to that, the jury might actually would have voted for her to win. Because it's like, oh, she was in alliance with us. Y'all didn't know about that. And it's like,
right.
No, she never was because she said no. After this, Ty has his call out session with Anika. Mm-hmm. It was a long conversation, and they were just calling each other.
So let me set it up.
Anika not go back down.
Right. So basically, Ty is gaslighting Anika. He is saying that the only reason he lied about not going to use the veto was because he felt that Anika was a liar. And him lying was a reaction to her already being a liar. And he now has evidence that she's a liar from Renee, and he is willing to call her out about it. And, Anika's big thing is that, I played an honest game. I'm a very truthful person. I haven't lied, I haven't backstabbed. And Ty is like, well, no, because I have all this evidence of that. And that justifies me doing what I'm doing. And we see Ty do this throughout the entire season. People. And it's like he makes a decision. He knows it's not favorable, so he will gaslight the person into them thinking, well, it's your fault.
Yeah.
And it's terrible because Anika even starts crying in this conversation.
It was bad. Because basically, Anika, at first, she was trying to defend herself. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of went to, well, I had to lie because that's how I had to get through this game. You were sitting there winning all the comps. I didn't have no choice. That was how I had to play the game. I had to play the game differently. I had to be more social. You just had to win all the comps. And then at that point, she was like, well, you lied. And Ty was like, well, you lied first. And then it got bad because he brought Renee in. And Claudia ends up in the room too. I don't know what was going on, but he brings Renee in first because there's a point where she's trying to say that Renee did, in fact, say that you and Claudia were a showman. Mm-hmm. And she did try to get y'all on the block. He tries to call her a liar about that. He was like, we can bring Renee in. So he brings Renee in, and when it's brought up in front of Renee, Renee was like, no, I didn't say they were showmans. I didn't say that word. And Anika was like, well, what are they? Aren't they? That's what they are. You said their names. That's what they are. Like, please be for real. But Renee was trying to basically say, that's not what I said. And Ty was gaslighting. But this is what a gaslighter, a narcissist will do. Now the discussion is not Ty using veto. It's Anika having to disprove that she's a liar. Yeah. Now it's about who's a liar and who's not. That's not what the fucking issue is. Yeah. The issue is you're using veto. Why are you doing it? Anika clocks that though. That's the thing. I like Anika because
she clocks it, but she's still
getting caught up in the. He's good at what he does. He's good at what he
does. Like I said,
because
PhD.
She keeps mentioning
a doctorate bitch in gaslighting. He does.
She keeps mentioning, what does this have to do? But what does this have to do with us, Ty? Like, what does this have to do? Because when Claudia comes in, she's not even relevant to the conversation, but she comes in.
She leaves. She's like, I don't want to be here.
And then she leaves. She's like, why am I even here? And when she leaves, Anika's like, what does that even have to do with anything? And Renee was like, well, am I even needed here? And Claudia was like, and Anika was like, basically not. And then Renee leaves. And Anika was like, okay, but Ty, what does this have to do with anything? And he's like, but you were a liar. And it's
like, okay, I'm a liar. That's the and like at this point, okay, I'm a liar, you a liar, we both lied. Do you want to work with me, nigga? Like, what's tea? Like, where do we go from here? Like, are you playing in my face like you playing in Claudia's face? Mm-hmm. I think that's what Anika wants to know, but Ty is so caught up into now proving that, well, I only lied because you lied, that it just turned into this big huge thing. And
it doesn't even matter because he don't even want Daniel to go.
He doesn't want Daniel to go. But he's trying to act like, oh, because she acting like this, maybe I do want Daniel to go. Yeah. You do not want Daniel to go. It's like, shut up. He is so annoying.
Because literally at the end, he's like, when Kusi left, I told her that I would get you to Final Four, so I'm glad you won the HOH. And with Daniel, it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't think, I think I like him, but I don't know. And it's like, girl, you're not. You like him. It's okay. You don't want him to go. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the conversation, we see that basically he might not want Daniel to go. He just wanted to use the veto on Claudia. And then he said he's
definitely using veto.
He's definitely using veto.
Now,
but when it
who's
comes to
going
who's
home?
going home, he's not sure. And you know he don't like Renee. After that, Anika and Daniel.
Like, Anika, girl, like, how did... Like, she's lucky because she could have lost her ally and she would look just as crazy as motherfucking Claudia. That's the thing. He Ty Loki helping her out because she still has some sort of leeway for a path to potentially get a win.
But that's only because of Ty. If Ty didn't decide this, girl.
But it's just like, Anika, girl, and the fact that she was laughing and kicking, mumbling and cackling with Ty, talking about where is Cece? Remember on the episode?
Yes.
Why doesn't Cece have a brain?
She doesn't have a brain at all. And where's yours? Scarecrow. Oh. And we should have had a brain, a heart, a home, a nerve. Okay. Boom.
What's going on?
Shout out to Wizard of Oz. After that conversation, Anika quickly talks to Daniel and she was like, girl, Ty gaslight me. Boom, boom, boom. She tells him the whole spiel. Daniel leaves and he's mad because he's like, damn, Anika fucking up my situation.
Yeah, I think he said something like, oh, I knew she was going to get me kicked out. Or like,
yeah, I knew she was going to get
me out. And it's just like,
if you knew that, why you
maybe kept Koozie?
Why you didn't keep Koozie? But honestly, like, Daniel... I'm sorry, but he be pissing me off because what are you talking about? Like, you could have just told her to put up Ty in the first place. I don't know. It was.
I think that's what makes me feel like him being annoyed by this makes me feel like maybe he did have those conversations. She just wouldn't listen because we talked about it earlier. He
basically said nobody listens to me or something like that.
So maybe she just didn't. But it's like,
is it that she didn't listen to you, or you can't run her because she's mother and you should?
That's like, if she didn't listen, or are you not influential? That's the argument.
He's had no offense. But like when it, a part of Big Brother is having influence over people. And Daniel has had no influence on anyone this entire season. And it's like, ooh, no one? Because everybody else kind of has, in a way. So that's scary. But hey, we move. So he goes and talks to Ty. And he was basically like, girl, don't listen to Anika. Like, don't be getting pressed about me over Anika. Like, it's not giving Anika has anything to do with us. I got your back. You know that. Renee, you think saving Renee gonna keep you in this game? And so I was like, girl, it's not giving saving Renee. He's like, good, because it's not. So he campaigns and he does a good job. And that's the thing, Daniel is good in the sense that he can make a bitch want him to stay. He can make people want him in the game. The Girly Pops wanted him in the game over Anika. And it's like, girl, what? Yeah. Over Anika, please. But it's like he's good at that. But
this is what's scaring me. This is what scared me about Daniel too, because like he keeps mentioning he sold to Koozie before she left. He said it to Ty in the previous digital daily, and he's kind of trying to reaffirm it here. Like he is not fully shutting out the idea of going to Fawn 2 with Ty because he feels like him and Anika play very similar games. It may be hard to decipher between the two. He may want to go with someone that has played a different game, so it can be more decipherable. But I just feel like there's no way after everything that's been happening, you still feel that. Like, you know what I mean?
He might get more scared now that Anika won an HOH because he has it. So it's like we played similar.
But I mean, Ty has won 10 vetoes. Like, what are we talking about at this point?
But he hasn't played similar to him. And
but that's not the end all be all.
People say this like every season. People said it. Erica did it in Survivor when she made the deal to go to the end with Deshaun and them. She was like, we all played differently, but Heather, she played similar to me, so I'm scared to take her to the end. Shit like that, whatever that girl name was. People do it all the time. They're like, I don't want to go to the end with someone who was just my ally because they played so similarly, and I don't want to get that. There.
But
I don't get it.
But I get it.
I don't get it.
I get it if it's similar games. Like for example, if it was Shania and Renee, that's hard. Neither one of them are respected on a certain level.
Who do you take then? But I don't get it. But like,
wait, what are you talking about?
Because you were saying Shania and Renee, they're similar, but it's like if Shania doesn't go to the end with Renee, who does she go with? Ty?
No, I was just comparing. No. I was just comparing those two. Like if the jury was voting between those two, it's a toss up. What he's saying is that he would like it to be less of a toss up, and I think he was at first considering we play different games, so I could potentially beat him. It's a more clear shot to beat this person. Or instead of being in a situation where it could go either way, or she could take credit, or for example, basically they will go up there for the exact same thing. And at the end of the day, Daniel doesn't want to admit it, but he's very aware that him and Anika has been in the Koozie shout out to a certain extent the entire time. So I think that's his biggest fear.
That's what I was going to say though. I was going to be like, well, from Daniel's from what he says, he's done way more than Anika. So I don't see why he's even comparing the two. But because I guess subconsciously he knows he's a liar. All right.
I mean, there's not much you could have done than Anika, though. That's the thing. It's like, I hate that because it's like, if she, like, I think it's like, for example, like, Kuzi's saying you have no backbone, you're a follower. Like, he wants his first thing to say, well, I'm not a follower. I want to, like, that's not the argument to make. Like, you haven't been making those type of moves. That's not your game. Your game is a self-preservation game. Like, you've been safe damn near this entire time. You've been nominated twice in a row, and you're not going home. There's no reason why Daniel shouldn't be going home this round, and he's still staying. That's what you argue.
That's why he's going to lose if he makes it to final two, low-key. He might argue what he's been arguing up to Kuzi and to everybody in the house, that I have been making these moves. And Kuzi keeps saying, he was going for like 3 weeks. He was talking to the girly pops, to Ty. He was like, Kuzi keeps saying it was her idea. It wasn't her idea. I'm the one who saved y'all. And if he goes up there and he argues that, Kuzi and everyone she's been talking to for these last couple of weeks are going to be like, well, we know Kuzi did that, and we see that Kuzi did that, so you're taking credit for moves that aren't yours. So if he goes up there and argues the wrong game, he might lose just because of that. That would be an embarrassing lose. I hope he doesn't lose that way.
Hell yeah.
Just get third. Because now I can see it. I can see him. I can see him wanting to argue it that way.
It depends, though. I really hope Kuzi didn't go into jury like bitter down like that and like campaign against him. But who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, but he doesn't even. She don't really got to say much. People are already thinking. I believe. I think people already think like, no, Kuzi ate that up, and you were just kind of there also. But
I don't know though, because we don't. I feel like we don't see other players discuss Daniel, so I wouldn't bet. That's true. That the perception of him is just that weaker player. I wouldn't just automatically bet that. However, either way, he shouldn't be going to final two with Ty, and it scares me that he keeps saying it.
Yes. Ty is kind of telling Daniel, like, girl, I'm not even mad at you. I'm only just mad at Anika. And if it was Anika nommed, I would be evicting her. And I would not evict you, though. So he told Daniel he's not evicting him and that he plans on saving him, even though he's going to still use the veto. And you will be nommed. I just want to evict you. So that's
just so random. He's like, you know what? I'm doing all of this. Well,
it's like resume moves. Well, it makes it seem like he's doing a lot. Which he is, but he's not also. Like, girl, you could have just not used veto. Same thing would happen. Just vote to evict Renee. Like, he could just vote to evict Renee.
Well, that's the thing. Anika says Claudia is her target. So maybe he doesn't want Claudia out. Well, maybe he's going based off Anika. Like, Dan's going to do what Anika wants.
Well, that's
so
true.
Maybe because if he wants Claudia to stay,
and
there's no reason for him not to want Claudia to stay. He's now forced this girl to only trust. Oh my god, it's so sick because you know what they say, like when you get with like a narcissistic man,
they just
they separate you from all of your family and friends.
That's so scary.
Oh, Claudia, baby.
The storyline is so, and then it also says that like they make you be the one to separate yourself. So they tell you need to stop talking to her. She's bad for you. And he's been doing that all season about Shanae.
Yeah, Renee gotta go. Shanae gotta go.
That's scary.
Claudia, baby, you need to run.
Claudia, if you don't see nothing else that we've ever said, see this.
Girl, see this.
As soon as you leave that house,
never talk to that man again.
On everything. You don't ever need to see him in person. Girl, please. I don't care if you got to get with Zach instead. Somebody else.
No.
Somebody else.
That's worse.
It's worse. We've never seen Zach in her.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's worse. He was besties with Ty.
They were the same thing.
Hello.
I just feel like anybody else. I don't know. Anybody else. That's how I'm feeling.
Jonathan. Oh, Jonathan got a wife.
With Jonathan ever? Okay. But Claudia, not him. Just stay single.
Single. I heard Rob's available.
For Santina.
The El Nana.
Boom. After this, Claudia and Renee talk. Renee basically found out that Shanae had been talking shit about her. She was low-key pressed. Who cares? Ty comes in, and basically Renee's trying to pitch to Ty while Claudia's there. She's like, whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. But hopefully you can see that you can't trust Anika. She's clearly a liar. We saw in that conversation she was lying down. You can't really trust her.
And Renee just trying to get in what she finished. I respect Renee because it could have been. I was like, it could have been anything. She was like, she would have been ready.
Agree. He could have said, Claudia got to go. She would have been like, Claudia got to
go. Claudia has to go.
She's a
fake ass bitch. I never liked her.
After this, what do we get? One more conversation with Daniel and Anika. Dan was like, girl, you just gotta calm down. You gotta make it seem like we trust Ty, that we fuck with him, we vibe with him. I don't think Anika can really do that. Anika is just so independent, and I love that about her. She's going to do whatever the fuck
very
she wants.
open, honest, and real. Like, she gonna say what's on her mind.
Yeah, so if she don't trust him, she's just not gonna trust him. I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to be mad about it.
And he played nice. He shouldn't trust him as this. No one should. But I understand the logic of maybe he'll keep me safe. But it's like, y'all gonna be in final 3 with this man, which is terrifying.
Boom. That's how that digital daily end. We went to the May 1st one.
Yesterday.
Which was the last one we got yesterday. We see on the screen that eviction is tomorrow, which is today. So apparently someone is evicted today. But we don't know that tea yet.
Mind you, they be calling Thursday evictions live. Like,
yeah, okay. We might not get an eviction on. I mean, we might not get a digital daily tomorrow then, right? Since someone's getting evicted today.
Probably not.
Well, maybe before the eviction.
Yeah.
Before the eviction. And then that means then it'll be the live episode on
Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. So Thursday we probably won't get a drop.
A daily. Boom. Boom. We find out that Daniel is the final nominee. Ty did use the veto on Claudia. Ty is going to be evicting Renee. And we know that because basically the only conversation in the drop, it is Ty and Claudia discussing how they will be evicting Renee. And this is my thing. Right off rip, Claudia, even though Renee is going, you voting to evict her makes you look less desirable as a winner.
Yes.
It makes it look like even you should just give her a pity vote because you look less. If I'm in the jury, I'm gonna be like, you took out Shanae because Ty told you, and then you voted out Renee. You didn't have to vote to evict her. Where's your loyalty, Shannon?
You don't shit about loyalty, Shannon.
No, shit about loyalty, Shannon. Because then when Renee goes to veto, when Renee goes to jury and Shanae is like, girl, that bitch, she was never fucking with us. She was always fucking with Ty. Renee can be like, girl, you right.
This just voted me out. You're right. Claudia, right. Girl.
And then it's like both of them are voting Ty. Because the thing, when Ty, if it's Ty and Claudia in final 2, I can see Renee and Shanae asking the question, Claudia, were you ever vibing with us or was it always Ty?
But that's why I said the winning move is cutting Ty. She has to know the winning move. Because when I tweeted that, a lot of people were like, well, I don't see it's possible because she did this and she did this and she bet, and Shanae feels this way, Renee may feel this way. I think all of that changes if she cuts Ty. I think in that moment, everyone's like, oh, she just cut Ty. The person we're all going to vote for, we have to vote her. Like, and she likely takes Daniel or Nika in that situation. They haven't won shit. She wins the game. Like, it's just, does she know that's the move? We don't know. I feel bad because, like we said, we just mentioned, like, Ty has been winning all these competitions. But the mistake she made was not putting him up initially. So, boom, that's out of the way. But it could have helped her because he kept her safe this round. It's like she's now at the point where she's forced to work with him. And it's like, well, if he wants Renee out, what are you going to say to convince him? Clearly, Claudia knows she can't convince this man of anything.
There's a lot.
So
and
it's
that's
like
the issue with Claudia's game. She doesn't strategize really.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything because all you don't even have to
She's
lie. You don't even
have
to lie. You can just be like, well, Ty, Daniel has the crown. They're all voting him to win. We have a better shot at winning the fight. First of all,
I didn't even get that. I didn't even peep that angle. They all know about the crown.
He knows about it. She knows about it. She's like, well, if he has a crown and Anika has a crown, those are the two people who can get the jury votes. Maybe just for one of us to at least win, in case Renee wins the final HOH, we can still beat her. If Daniel wins the final HOH, we're both losing. So one of us needs to get this win. For one of us to win, we need Renee there.
But that's the thing. Her immediate thing is not even like, I feel like every time she goes to talk to Ty, it's like, what are you doing? Are you using veto? Don't use it.
And that's her problem. But that's the thing. She's not just like that with Ty. She was like that with girly pop conversations. She would just sit there. Shanae would talk, or Renee would talk. And Claudia would kind of just sit there and agree. Even if she didn't agree, she would still just agree with them. And it's like, I remember the conversation with Renee and Claudia. Renee was like, we need to play the middle. Claudia didn't want to play the middle. She wanted to work with Ty and Dan.
And get out Renee.
Get out Renee. And Renee kept saying, girl, it's giving play the middle. And Claudia didn't really say anything back. And it's like, push your agenda, babe. If you don't want Dan to go, why are you allowing Renee to want Ty out? You just allow things. And that's why it's like, with Claudia, it's like, you're not giving good game player. Because there's a lot of reasons that he could keep Renee. And she's not saying any of them. She's just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay. The reason I also think she might just take him to final 2 is because in this conversation, they start studying a little bit. And she is telling him all the tea. He doesn't know shit, apparently. Street saying he didn't know nothing. He would have lost down. And she's correcting him on all the studying tips. She's like, no, Ty, this happened on this day. And this happened on this day. And actually, it's this day. So she's telling him all of the correct answers to the studying that could have won her the final HOH. So it's like,
but see,
I'm not
I can
saying
say that
lie
just with
straight
her
to his
being
face.
nice.
Right, but if you're nice, that means
stupid.
you're so nice you're gonna take him to the final. Because she doesn't have to. She can just shut up.
Yeah,
Or
it's so
she could just
stupid.
She could just think it, and it just,
but
and
I
it's not
felt
even
that
about
though.
it's not even about it. Just the energy gave. She actually want to go to the final two with him. Even in the episode when they were cuddled up, the energy just gave, like, because they were talking, they were like, oh my god, they're all gone, but I guess if we can make it the final two. And it just seemed like, the energy.
I hope she's not stupid
like
enough.
She
I hope she's not dumb enough. Like, I hope like that. It just would not make sense.
Think, but exactly what I said. Daniel and Nika has the crown. She might think it. She might think that right now. So when she goes to final three with one of them, she could easily just be like, well, I have to take Ty, because if I take Daniel, all 5 of them are voting him. If I take a Nika, all 5 of them are voting him. And it's like
four.
All 4 of them are voting them, but that's still a lot. So
yeah.
So she's gonna be like, all of them are voting them, and that would be scary. While as Ty, it's not given that they would all vote for him. She might think she has the girly pops and Dan and maybe even Jonathan over Ty. So she might think she has a better chance against Ty. So I think she might just genuinely want to take him. I think Ty's getting taken by Claudia. I think Ty's setting it up. I think it's better for Ty to evict Renee, because now with Renee gone, Claudia has to evict either Anika or Daniel if she wins the next veto. And Ty will have that ally who will actually be working for him, because now Anika and Daniel have to get split up. So the final 3 is likely going to be, in my opinion, Daniel, Claudia, and Ty. I think both Claudia and Ty will take Daniel before they take Anika. I think that's stupid, but I think they will. So I think the final 3 is going to be Claudia, Ty, and Daniel. All of them are, honestly,
I see it.
Honestly, since Kuzi went, these are the 3 that I would say deserve to win the most, in my opinion. So I'm okay with them being final 3. If it's Claudia, Ty, Daniel, any of them can win, I'll be okay. It was. I'm
just thinking, if she gets up there, like, would she really take? It's not like basically what I'm saying is that, like, all the signs point to it. I feel like maybe she don't see it because she's in there. Obviously I have the bird's eye view, but it's just like all the signs point to it. Like, she's talking about it in the house, like that's the move.
But also she could be thinking Daniel's gonna beat me. Because even, you remember she had the conversation with Shania. She was like, Shania, you're the one who's friends with Daniel, not me. She said it multiple times in the house. She could just be thinking Shania might even vote Daniel. They were crying together. Mm-hmm. So it's like, Shania might vote Daniel, all the crown might vote Daniel. So it's like, she could just be thinking he's just going to beat her. Which he could. And honestly, I can see why she doesn't think Ty is. Ty's a bitch. I can see why she could think
he's a bitch. But
I can see why she could think
I feel like we're going based off, like, Big Brother Canada specifically. Like, they know, like, Big Brother Canada, the comp wins are huge. Like, I just think at this point, Ty is the undisputed winner of the season. Everyone should see that. Like, she might not. I don't think any of them could. Why keep them off the block? I don't know. I just don't want to say. I just don't want to say, oh, she's that stupid where she's not going to cut that man.
And I wouldn't even call it stupid.
That would be insane.
I wouldn't even call it stupid because I do think Daniel could still beat her. So it's not like she'd be cutting Ty, and I don't think it's an automatic win. If
she cuts Ty, that's the automatic win. It has to be.
You're right.
She's cutting the person that everyone's likely going to vote. Like, it has to be. Even Shania says she's going to Ty. Like, I don't see how she does not win the game.
That's true.
Because that would mean,
from her perspective, I can.
But that's the thing, though. But also in her perspective, you have to realize it. If it goes the way that you're saying, like maybe Daniel won HOH, whoop de whoop de whoop. But if it goes the way you're saying, it's like he hasn't done anything through all of this. Daniel hasn't done shit. It's like everything has been literally either her alliance, or Ty for these last few weeks. Yeah. So I don't see how she could think or fathom that Anika or Daniel, depending who's going to be there, would be there. I don't see that. Like, even with the crown and those things, I just don't feel like, how can she see that? Unless she gets fully dickmatized by Ty. Best thing, Josh took Kevin last year. I mean, worse things have happened.
She could just think like he's hated. Maybe. Santina got in an argument with him before she left.
That would be crazy. But the girls are saying, the girls on Twitter already think she's dumb enough to not do it. So I think maybe I'm in the wrong.
I think she's taking Daniel. I think she's taking Daniel.
Look, Claudia, I'm holding that hope for you, sister. I am. I'm holding that hope for you, sister. Don't disappoint me.
Really? This is gonna be your last following. This is gonna be your.
I just think Lee. Honestly, I feel like I have something to prove now because I've been tweeting it. The The girls say, I kind of want to shit on bitches, and when Claudia wins, I'm gonna be like, I told y'all.
Me saying it now. Claudia's gonna win final HOH and a big tie and win the game.
Well, I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying it could happen. It's the likely scenario. If she's in final three with Ty, if it's Ty and Claudia are both in final three, I think Claudia's winning that final situation, cutting Ty. Yes, I do.
I don't think so. I'm not even sure she's winning the HOH.
Now you're just saying anything. Well, my thought process was Ty is probably going to get to the final part because those first two parts are somewhat physical / somewhat whatever the fuck else.
I agree.
As long as she's able to get to the final part, she's been the best historically in this season on trivia. Ty sucks at trivia. I don't think him learning now is going to help him. It's not. That's not his type of competition. She's the likely favorite to win that. I see her being in final three. I see her being in the final three HOH. I don't see that. And if she does, girl, go ahead and give my man a check.
She's been a bird all season. I can't see
give my man the check.
One thing about birds is they consistent.
I'm the biggest bird. I'm the biggest bird.
So y'all, I don't know. Comment if you think Claudia is taking Ty or if she's evicted Ty at final three. If she wins final three HOH. Tune in next week.
We were not done.
We was. What you mean?
It's way more about the conversation than just them studying it. But it's
what
okay.
Are you talking? I said before how they discussed the Victor Renee and they agreed on that. What else you have to say?
That was just more about. I thought we could have more detail about that.
Oh, go boom.
Well, no, it's fine.
No, what else details?
We're wrapping up.
But if it was details,
but we're wrapping up.
It wasn't no details.
We're done. We're past it.
Period. Tune in next week. We will be covering this again on Friday. We will be. Oh, actually, this week it might not be Friday, but later this week we will be doing a player rating, and we will be rating the rest of the players in the motherfucking game. Finale is next week. We will be popping off. Tune in for that. We're also doing Survivor and the challenge, so tune in for that. Boom.